Hey, so I wanted to take a moment to talk a little bit about becoming, right? I started with my first video last week talking about how becoming a leader in ministry and just sharing some of my challenges. So last time I was talking about how you got to distinguish between your assignment versus your friends. And this week, well, I really want to talk about treating people right. I know it seems so obvious. Like we should know how to treat people, right? It just seems like we should know not to say certain things, not to do certain things, not to behave in a certain way. And I'm learning that in leadership, there's this whole other level of accountability, right? It is crazy. I mean, you know, I liken it to being a parent, right? There are certain things that you have to accept with children at certain stages of development. You understand that as a 2-year-old, they're going to do certain things. They're going to put things in their mouth. They're going to touch certain things. And the discipline is going to be different. And then as they grow and mature, there's a different level of accountability. Like you don't expect a 16-year-old to be putting stuff in their mouth that they should know is dirty that fell on the floor. That could go all types of ways, but there's a certain level of expectation, maturity when someone grows, when you're a parent and your child is growing and developing. Well, let me tell you, when it comes to leadership, although the role of a leader I'm learning is this accountability and responsibility to nurture and develop and to feed God's sheep, I'm learning that maturity level is not so clear. There's an expectation that sometimes I mistakenly have for others. And I have to remember my own walk and how, while certain things were obvious to me, there were things that did not come into maturity until I got a little older, right? So you got to treat people right. What does that mean? That means that there can't be an expectation for people to do things because you determine their level of maturity, right? When I was, the Bible Paul said, when I was a child, I spoke as a child. And when I became a man, I put away childish things. That makes perfect sense in the natural. But unless you use discernment, that does not make the same level of mistake in the spirit. So you make mistakes. And as a leader, you're expecting 16-year-old behavior from 2-year-olds spiritually. You're expecting 2-year-old behavior for people who you think are not mature, but they're 16-year-olds spiritually, or 20-year-olds, or 20 or 40-year-olds. The point is just that you can't determine the level of maturity unless you have spiritual discernment, and remember to utilize spiritual discernment over your own expectations. So what is that? Why am I talking about treat people right? I'm saying that you can't be out here spanking grown people. You can't be out here talking crazy to grown people. You can't be out here treating people in a certain way because you have a position of authority. Although the Bible says that we're supposed to. One of the things I was reading today, and it was talking about how our responsibility is to obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. I thought that was so dope because Paul was so specific when he said obey your parents in the Lord, right? So you got to obey them in the Lord. That means that, we really, really got to use discernment on who our parents in the Lord are. And parents that are nurturing and developing people, you have to use the discernment to train up a child the way they should go, so when they're old, they won't be departing from it. But you have to learn how to use the right tools. You can speak to somebody and break their spirit. Sometimes we as parents will say things that are so horrible, the kids, it'll echo in their mind and we damage them for life. That's the same thing that happens spiritually. So I'm learning, I don't want to damage nobody. I don't want to hurt nobody. I want to say things the right way, and I know I'm going to mess up and I'm going to get it wrong, but I want to do differently than some of the negative experiences I had in being in different types of ministries that were done to me. You know different, do different. Don't be mad at nobody because we all just figuring this out and we learning, So I'm just saying we gotta treat people good. I'm becoming someone who is practicing treating people good. I thought I was a nice person. I think I'm a nice person. But sometimes without spiritual discernment, I won't treat people good because my good may not be the same as their good. And what I think may be good for them may be harmful. I might be giving them things that they're not ready to digest. With maturity, babies eat milk. Then they eat pablum in my days. You put a little cereal in the milk and make it a little thicker. Then they eat cereal. Then they transition to solid foods, baby foods, whatever you call it. How does that work out spiritually? We gotta, as leaders, treat people good. And you know what? Last but not least, people can be so mature in one area and they like little infants in another. Oh, it's so frustrating. But then I sit back and I say, oh my God, how many people did I frustrate? So as I'm becoming, I just want to share these lessons with you. I love you. Love hard, love hard, love hard. When we mess up, apologize. Apologize. Be good to people. Be kind to people. You know what I'm saying? Treat people good. How can we love God who we've never saw if we can't love our neighbor? Treat people good. It'll go a long way. Bye, Justin. Is that another kiss? Bye-bye.